energy analyst for FDAC in Anchorage. Elisa utilizes her knowledge and experience with systemic inequalities to analyze energy developments and advance public interests in research, policy, regulatory, and legislative matters. AKA, she reads a lot.
That's good. Reading's good.
Show some love to Elisa.
Yeah, well done, Lisa.
Hi everyone, good to see you. I'm Elisa Satterfield. I live and work on Denaina lands in Anchorage and also Willow, Alaska.
Shout out to Anchorage.
It's really great to see everyone come out. And I think a lot of folks may be wondering, you might not know all of the details of the deal, but you know that this is important for our constitutional rights. Why? A secret record means that we did not get a chance to actually see the receipts. We do not know if Hilcorp has the financial wherewithal to respond to a spill if and when it does happen. And we also don't know if they're going to keep cutting corners like we've seen them do. A little bit about myself. I'm not from Alaska. I'm from Oklahoma is where I was born and raised, or where I was raised. I lived on Osage lands. And Osage County, where I live, is just a rock throw away from the headquarters of ConocoPhillips. And so I've seen what happens to a boomtown and when oil leaves, when oil walks away. And let me tell you, that town's dried up. There's nothing left for the people except for the pollution. This is, you know, in Alaska, transferably, the largest deal of our generation. It isn't a blip on the radar. This is what is going to set the standard for our energy future. And we want to set that standard for transparency for the people. And today we're here exercising our rights to free speech and freedom of assembly and people power in the courtroom.
Hey.
City of Valdez
Locals
will be
only.
exercising and fighting for our rights of free speech and due process. This is a case about communities and pitting us against corporations. The RCA, the Regulatory Commission who approved this deal, has a mandate to regulate in the public interest, not to be captured by the industry that they're supposed to regulate. They're supposed to be regulating for the people.
People over profit!
People over profits. Hey, locals only, like Chris Stiles said.
We together here are not the first to be speaking on this issue. We have a long lineage of folks who've been working not just on Hilcorp work, but oil and gas work in the state. And we have an opportunity right now, as being in the courtroom, to show the powers that be that we care. So thank you so much for showing up, taking the time out of your lunch hour, viewing this online, being here in person. We need you. And we need you not just today, but this deal,
every day.
The decision will come out in a couple months. We need you for the next couple months, for the next couple years, for the rest of Alaska's future. So
Every
thank
day.
you for standing with us.
All right, Elisa, let's hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like Elisa mentioned, there's a lot of work to be done. Make sure that you sign the petition. We've got a QR code up here on the wall. A bunch of us have buttons with the QR code on it, and it's on the clipboards as well. And please get involved with any coalition that you want to get involved with, especially the Fairbanks Climate Action Coalition, and follow ACPERG on our social media. Stay tuned because we're going to keep asking for the community to show up. We can't just come one day and then burn out. It's got to keep
Every
going.
day.
So let's keep going, okay?
Every day. Keep going
We
every
don't want
day.
these billion-dollar corporations bullying us.
Exactly.
And Valdez is standing up today, and we stand with them, and we're showing the judges, and we're showing Hilcorp that we will not stand for this.
Yep.
Is Senator Wilkowski here?
Where are you at,
Senator
Bill?
Wilkowski's going to give a couple words real quick. He serves East Anchorage and Elvis North Air Force Base, and he's going to share some inside game for us.
Thank you so much. My name is Bill Wilkowski. I'm a state senator representing East Anchorage. And since I heard Senate Bill 114 mentioned, I got to give it a plug. It's my bill. It's a bill I sponsored. It's a bill I've been working on for several years.
Yeah.
Did you realize, do you all understand that at a time when education funding is being cut massively, at a time when we have 1,000 openings in the Anchorage School District, at a time when schools all
And my
across
uncle
the
just
state are
retired
laying
from
off
teaching.
teachers, at a time when we can't fund public safety officers, village public safety officers, at a time when we can't get our roads plowed, at a time when our PFDs are being cut, the oil industry, Hilcorp in particular, is getting $1.2 billion in tax breaks every single year. Tax credits.
Boo!
Hilcorp in particular is also getting another preferential treatment in that they pay no corporate income taxes in the state of Alaska because of a gigantic loophole that has
That's
existed
hella dumb.
for decades now. Did you
Boo!
realize that?
That's make them pay.
Alaska is the most profitable oil jurisdiction in the world, and we are giving away our resources and getting nothing in return.
Oil
for that.
drilling
That's
screwing up our
unbelievable.
environment.
That's why we need to pass Senate Bill 114. But on the topic of today, this is such a critical lawsuit. This is such a critical case. I'm so pleased to be supporting the city of Valdez and Rob Brennan in their efforts because we have this huge piece of infrastructure that has been transferred to Hilcorp, and we have no idea whether or not Hilcorp has the assets to properly manage that. We've all seen, we've all heard about the devastation from the Exxon Valdez oil spill.
My dad
How
sued
that,
Exxon.
Just absolutely devastated the fisheries,
Yep.
lifestyles,
I know
ways
about
of
that
life
firsthand.
for people that have lived in.
My
subsided
dad
off
sued
that
them. Hella people
for
sued them.
generations, and we have no idea whether or not Hilcorp is able to properly manage that. That's what
We
this
know they
lawsuit
can't.
is about. It's about ensuring that the Regulatory Commission of Alaska takes the appropriate steps to protect the people of Alaska. That's their job, to make sure that we are managing the resource for the people. That's a constitutional obligation that we have, and we are not doing that when we're allowing financial information to be hidden, the details of this transaction to be hidden. That is not fair to the people of Alaska. That's not fair to all of us who are here, our future generations, and I'm so glad to be here supporting this lawsuit. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hey, thanks for showing up, Bill.
Thanks, Senator. You know, we're out here in the streets, but we're not alone, and it's really great to hear that we have people working in our legislature that can make a difference. So stay tuned to SB 114. Write your lawmakers, make sure that this
I'm
gets
gonna let
passed
Elvie
next year
know.
because it's a big, big moment. We deserve to know more, and we want no more secrets, no more spills. No more secrets,
no more spills. No more secrets, no more spills. No more secrets, no more spills.
Our final speaker is a descendant of the Milchick's founding families. McKibben Jakinski is the author of Too Close to Home, Living with Drill Baby on Alaska's Kenai Peninsula. And she calls herself an unwelcoming neighbor to Hilcorp's Peninsula
All
operation.
right. Hey, keep up the good work every day.
McKibben.
This is so good to see all these faces here, because sometimes on my little piece of land in the corner of Ninilchik, it feels like I'm the only one that doesn't want them as a neighbor. So thank you for being here today.
Yep.
In the mid-1800s, my Alutiiq and Russian ancestors helped found Ninilchik as a settlement for the Russian American Company pensioners who left it here and didn't want to go back to Russia. In the 1920s, my grandfather homesteaded 3 miles north of the village. And then in the early 1900s, having grown up in Ninilchik but having moved on to other locales, I fulfilled my own long-held dream to establish my home in Ninilchik and build a cabin on a 3-acre piece of land that I'd inherited. 20 years later, my daughters, with whom I share ownership of the property and who are also happy that you are here today, we received our first lease offer from Hilcorp. It spelled out the company's interest in exploring for oil, gas, and associated substances on our little 3 acres of land. Here's what they wanted to do. They wanted to begin investigating, prospecting, marketing, drilling, producing, owning, saving, taking care of, venting,
Yeah, right.
treating,
Taking care
transporting,
of.
laying pipe, telephone, and power lines, building and maintaining roads, constructing power stations, tanks, and other facilities and structures, and the free and uninterrupted right and right-of-way into, through, and under the land.
Boo!
Now, how do you do that on 3 acres of land that I live on? I asked the landman. And his response was, we'll be as unobtrusive as possible.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
And our response was, no thank you.
Hey.
Then a second lease request was received, like wanting the same thing, and our answer was again, no. In the 13-mile stretch of us on the Kenai Peninsula, there are 8 Hilcorp drill pads situated on the bluff overlooking Cook Inlet's eastern shore. Now Hilcorp has developed the 3-acre Pearl Pad on privately owned land that partially borders what my grandparents homesteaded. It's less than a half-mile from my cabin. My neighbors and I share a driveway now with large vehicles that travel to and from the pad. Drilling is a 24/7 operation, during which we hear the clanking of pipe, the voices of workers, the rumble of the drill, and the vibrations of which can be felt when you're walking on the beach below. Last summer we were surprised when flaring began, and the roar of that is like standing on a runway when a jet is taking off.
Jeez.
Besides that, the flame is big, it dances around in Cook Inlet winds, and it lights up the night sky. When construction of the pad began, friends and neighbors joined my husband and me at the end of the driveway with protest signs. Hang on. I'm a writer, I have to have my written word.
She's a great writer. My book.
Yep.
One truck driver who was going back and forth to the pad even stopped to tell us that he understood what we were doing. A family in a van pulled off the Sterling Highway to ask what was happening, and they were reduced to tears when we told them the campground on which they had formerly enjoyed many vacations from their Anchorage home had been purchased by Hilcorp and was being turned into a drilling pad. Now my neighbors and I have repeatedly expressed concerns about noise, traffic hazards, air quality, the risk of wildfire, the lack of an evacuation route should an emergency occur on the pad. We've written letters and emails, made calls, left messages, and testified to both state and borough hearings. We have yet to have our concerns responded to satisfactorily. But Hilcorp is clever at becoming a valued member of the community. Donations go a long way to buy
That's
goodwill.
true.
The Nilchik Emergency Services has erected a Thank You Hilcorp banner along
Boo.
the Sterling Highway. And that same sentiment is flashed on a sign at the Nilchik Fairgrounds. My daughters and I recently received a third lease request from Hilcorp within the past year. It was delivered over the phone by a company representative with enthusiasm that sounded like we'd just run the Reader's Digest sweepstakes.
Jeez.
But what he was offering was for the company to buy our subsurface rights, which we are fortunate to have. Our answer hadn't changed. In fact, before he even got to the dollar figure or the details, we stopped him and said the answer has not changed. It's still no.
Hey.
Those of us who continually say no, who don't want Hilcorp on our land or as our neighbors, look at the company's safety record, the list of non-compliances, the fines that are merely inconsequential slaps on the wrist, and we wonder why the powers that be that should be looking out for our good and the good of Alaska don't also say no. So thank you, Valdez, for demanding that Hilcorp prove its ability to do what it promises to do. Thank you for not taking them at their word. Thank you for saying that we, Alaskans and Alaska, are the priority. And thank you to everyone here today for reminding me that we are not alone.
Hey.
Thank you, McKenna.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. The outcome of this case will set a precedent for how future oil sales are handled and whether the public has the right to know about these deals that affect our land, our water, and our well-being, not to mention the economic implications. The fact that we are here will affect the outcome.
Yep.
Because we're here today showing the judges that we are watching. Tell the judges, we are watching.
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 And we're all here together, and I'm just so proud of everyone who showed up today. Who's going to head into the courtroom?
I don't know, maybe. I will, I guess. I don't
So
know.
awesome. Well, we are going to take a group photo in a moment, but before that, Elisa's going to come back up, give us instructions on how to hang out in the courtroom, and also how to attend online if you can't come, if you need to go back to work.
Almost
so
lunchtime
Elisa,
for
here
me.
you go.
Hey.
Again, so a couple of things to note. This court hearing is scheduled at 1:30. The judges are on time, so please do not be late. You'll have to enter into the building and go through security, and so we want to enter in a timely fashion with plenty of time so that we're ready when the judges walk in exactly at 1:30. If you are late, you can stream virtually on Gavel to Gavel. If you have our Facebook event, there's a bit.ly link, Hilcorp Live in Court. And if you have access to KTOO, we received confirmation that it will be interrupting the scheduled broadcast to be televised live on TV.
Yeah. So check out
The
KTOO.
live stream will be a permanent link. Go to Gavel Gavel. This Sunday, KTOO does run Supreme Court cases on Sundays and rebroadcast
Oh, so
them,
this is
so you can
Supreme
listen
Alaska
there as
Supreme
well.
Court.
Another thing to note, this is a courtroom. Please be respectful in court. They have a lot of decorum rules, so just looking out for that. We're here to observe and make sure that we follow the court process of being courtesy observers. No talking. Please silence your cell phones in the courtroom. You're allowed to bring water, but no other food and drink. And restrooms, there's one on the first floor, there's one on the 5th floor if you need it. What to expect is that each party will have a set time aside for them to do their arguments. The judges will be interrupting them and asking them questions, and there'll be a back and forth rebuttal. And then immediately after the case, the judges will go back into their offices and confer with a more or less agreement, and then we'll wait a couple months for them to finalize that agreement, and then we'll
Months?
see what happens next.
That's how you know the system jacked up.
Question. Oh, where do we sit? Very important. It's a big courtroom. The organizers of the event will know which side the City of Valdez attorneys are sitting, and so we're sitting behind the City of Valdez. That's where we sit.
Hey.
Any other questions? Concerns? Comments? Okay, you're all so prepared.
Thanks, Elisa. Thanks for all the info all the time. Jessica wants to come talk for a second. We're going to talk about what we're going to do next. This is Jessica Gerard.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to talk. But we're going to take a little group photo. Who's powered up from these speakers?
I am.
Who's powered up about this art?
I am.
Jessie Thornton Designs right there. Follow her on Instagram. We're going to take a minute real quick, and we're going to gather for anybody who's excited to be in a group photo with us. So we're going to come fill up behind this banner, holding the banners, etc. We're going to do that together if you like before we go into the courtroom. The other thing I just want to do before we do that is stick your feet on this asphalt for a second. Think
Stick
about
my
those
feet.
folks who have been holding this space for generations. Think about the water protectors, the land protectors, the salmon protectors. You are one of them. And that is a lineage that you are part of. We are not going to solve everything today, but we are going to stand today together, and we're going to stand together tomorrow, and we're going to stand together with our children in the future, because
Yep.
this is a fight that has been going on and will never end, and we are here for it. So take care of your bodies, take care of each other. Remember to step in and step back, because that's why this movement is here, yeah?
Yeah. Yep.
Take care of the people next to you. Take care of your bodies, your spirits, okay?
Yep.
So come up here if you want to be in a photo.
All right.